Hello, YouTube. Welcome to a stormy part 7 of Observer with a Therapist. It is a pleasure having you along for this playthrough. I know it's been a bit odd and out there and not quite the same as the typical playthroughs you're used to. And as such, I am grateful for your engagement with it. Thank you for all the thumbs up. Thank you for the comments along the way. Thanks for following the links in the description, all that fun stuff. Check out my other playthroughs. But for now, watch this one. It's time to go to the attic and see what's going on up there. I do want to know, like, I don't want to totally retread my steps, but I do want to know if some of these people will, like, talk to you again. Yeah? I would not like having birds in the hallways of my apartment complex. Just gotta say. Alright, to the attic. So I'm pretty sure that's all I have left on my little thing here. Investigate the fissure. Found a hole in the wall of the basement. Oh yeah, that's a bug. So all we have is track down the killer. I mean, I'm sure the basement's gonna be fine. I'm sure there's nothing weird up there. Or the attic. I'm sure it's perfectly reasonable. Hey, there's that bike again. Okay, cool. So I can't go up there from this staircase. .209 doesn't make the same noise. Okay. Respiro 5, catch your breath. Eliminates up to 45% of external environmental pollutants, making your domicile an invigorating oasis. Highest quality components guarantee unsurpassed durability up to 2 months without unit replacement. Oh. Oh, here we go. We're building new homes for you. Okay. More blood. Hello? I mean, if the birds aren't freaking out, this is probably okay. Right? Right? Birdie. 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 Oh, are you telling me? Okay. God, when's the last time anybody was up here? Oh, gee. Oh! Hey there, little guy. What's up? What you doing up there? The baby. Okay, yeah, sure. I'm sure there's nothing bad underneath this trapdoor. Nothing bad at all. Nothing. Oh, hi, Mark.
What the hell are you, anyway?
Oh, shit.
Time to get some answers. Setting up a crime scene.
Voice recorder module malfunction.
To hell with it.
Jesus. Need to pop some synchrosine. No, I don't. Okay, well. Let's have a little look-see around this guy's apartment here. Now that I've survived a fall. Wow, did he really just kill himself by jumping after me? Or how the hell did I... Look at all this. This is outrageous. What the hell is all this? Maybe he tripped, yeah. Oops, he was trying to give me a hug. He tripped. Like, whoa. Did we fall down from all the way up there?
Reinforced skeleton. Hydraulic joints. Victims never had a chance.
Unregistered military-grade technology detected. Damn.
Exposed wiring. The one thing you don't want breaking your fall.
Yeah. No kidding. Is he still alive? No. Damn, dude. This dude's creepy looking.
Lucky me. The neural implant's still functional. Mostly.
Victor Medersky. Citizen Class C. Gender A3. No criminal record, deceased 17 minutes ago. 17 minutes ago. So I was knocked out for a while there. Okay, in we go. I'm sure this will be
God knows
fun.
why you fucking kill people. But I want my fucking son back.
But does my son want me back? My hypothesis would be that the dude's like an agent for Chiron or something. Alright, here we go. Into the void.
Leave me alone!
Yeah, look how big the moon is. Holy crap.
Once upon a time, there lived in a certain village a little country girl, the prettiest creature who was ever seen.
Hey guys. What's up? I'm just looking for the closest Little Caesars. Oh god. Okay. Hey. Wasn't that neat? Did we love that? Look, it's just a nice rainy evening now. This must be what the apartment complex looked like before it got all cyberpunked out. Or it's the way that it looks when Daniel doesn't have all of whatever his neural implants are. There's that deer again. So the constants between all of these visions suggest to me that these are things that Daniel sees. So he's obviously filling in certain gaps and seeing certain things as the person who's making the observations. And as a participant in these worlds, which I think is really neat. I also quite enjoy that this game gives you the ability to do actions that don't actually do anything.
Look at him. Isn't he just the cutest thing?
I'm a little kid now. Ah, shit. Little baby. Little kid. Anything to eat, mommy? Some ice cream? Don't know that I love the toilet being so close to the kitchen.
Something's not right. Just look at it.
Oh no, is this kid like deformed or something and his whole appearance ruins his life?
Not now, Victor. Mommy needs to rest. Go and play, okay?
Okay. Wardrobes randomly placed everywhere.
have time for this.
Got a lot of fridges in this house. Man, just imagine your like kid just goes around just opening all the cabinets in your house and never closing them. Did Victor get into the kitchen again, honey? See you later, neglectful parents. Hey, there's that bike again. What is this? What is this? Oh ho ho.
Victor! Victor!
He had cut only a few strokes when he saw the red cap shining through. He cut a little more, and the girl jumped out and cried, "Oh, I was so frightened. It was so dark inside."
Mommy, why did the wolf have to die?
Okay, so the deer goes this way, but the TV says go this way. Oh boy. This is trippy. Oh, okay, so obviously a theme of masks. I wonder if, again, if this kid has some sort of like, his face looks a particular way, and so he's got all these masks as a way to try to mask that. Which would be pretty rough on a kid if they, you know, build their whole like identity around their appearance. I mean, he did look a bit more like a, he did kind of look wolf-like when we found him, like when we put this thing in him. And we keep seeing wolf imagery. But yeah, very well could be why the TV kids were backing away. I'm sure we're going to get more info on that. I also, it maybe makes the deer a bit more interesting because it's like prey.
What's wrong with his legs?
What's wrong with his legs?
Good. Just like that.
Kiki, thank you for the sub.
What a little freak!
Is that a bang or a gunshot?
Victor! Victor!
Look at him!
Victor! Victor!
Hey, watch your fucking step. Hey, Gil. Fucking freak. Get out of here.
Victor! Victor! Victor!
Come, Victor. Dinner is ready.
Yes. You're on the right path. We're almost done.
Oh, it's the doctor guy. The surgeon.
Perfect. You're almost there.
Oh shit, so, okay. I wonder if this guy went to that surgeon hoping to maybe fix his appearance. By the way, anybody who tells you that physical appearance doesn't matter is bullshitting you. Usually the people that you hear that from are people who are relatively like attractive or fit some sort of standard. The way that people look has an absolute impact on the way that they are treated. And when you like have a child, in this case, who perhaps has certain physical appearance that doesn't fit what people are expecting, it is quite common for them to hear horrible things from people. Often because it's people trying to resolve their anxieties about something that doesn't fit their expectation. Of, like, I don't really understand this, and so I want to exert some degree of control over it by making fun of it or diminishing it or whatever. But like this kind of thing on a kid will cut so ridiculously deep. You will absolutely believe that your appearance is the thing that matters, that it is you, because that is the thing that people see and it's the thing that people react to. And a kid will inductively make sense of that as something is wrong with me, or something is unpalatable, or I'm a burden. There's like any number of things that you can go there with a kid on. Like a kid's not going to have a sophisticated understanding of, well, people don't understand, blah, blah, blah. Like none of that. But it's been shown time and again, people who are considered to be conventionally attractive get the benefit of the doubt on things. They are often given a lot more flexibility. They are believed to be more successful and capable than they may actually be. And people who are not considered to be attractive often are can be seen as like lazy or not qualified, or can have not be given the benefit of the doubt, or people can have aversions to it. Like it matters. Like your physical appearance absolutely matters. That's why it's a multi-billion-dollar industry trying to get people to engage cosmetically in certain ways. It's also why in these cyberpunky type games and atmospheres, one of the first things you see is physical augmentation, because humans are wired to care about that kind of thing. Like, yes, what's inside absolutely matters more, but the idea that what you look like doesn't matter, it shouldn't matter, that's an argument that, you know, many people will make, and that's understandable. But whether it should or shouldn't matter, it does. And so this kid, Victor, had his entire development, it sounds like, wrapped into this idea of like, you look in such a way that we call you a freak and we treat you in a particular way. And he may have spent his entire life trying to modify that so that he was more palatable and accepted by people. Really sad. He starts wearing masks, probably starts exploring with his own body modification. Because people want to be accepted. They want to fit in.
There's no other way.
Can't follow the deer, huh?
Come, Victor. Dinner is ready.
I don't like it.
Please, you need to eat. Come on, eat. Eat.
Eat.
Truly, the atmosphere in this game is just so, it's so good. It's so well done. I just want to like take it all in. Hey, the deer. Yeah, look at all these different masks. All these masks in different closets and stuff.
Hurry! Your prey's getting wet. Yes, that's it.
Jesus, this is hopeless.
I am very smart.
What are you doing? When the moon is full, the beast awakens.
Hell are you watching?
This is such a perfect example. I know I said this last time, but It's a perfect example of the way, like, what people carry in their minds deep down. Like, we're seeing the internalized objects of his mom and dad, and I love that. And, like, just the way that he saw himself relative to them, the message he's heard from them that he's repeated over and over and over again. Things that probably oriented a lot of the decisions he made in his adult life.
There. Now's your chance. Hurry. Excellent.
What the hell did you do to yourself? You're getting rid of that first thing in the morning.
And risk partial to complete paralysis? Great idea, Dad.
Damn it. And he did that? Why? Just to spite me? I told you to stay out of the stacks.
I'm better off there than I am here.
Stop yelling. You're only making it worse.
I'm making it worse? Look at him! It's grotesque! It's disgusting! This freak of nature is not my son!
Victor, please. Your father didn't mean it. We're just worried about you, that's all.
Leave me alone!
Oh. Yeah. It doesn't matter that Mom says Dad didn't mean it. Kid's gonna take that in regardless. Because as a kid, you can feel the emotion of that. Your question as a kid is, why would my dad even say that? Why would my dad say that if he didn't mean it? Kids don't have the brain sophistication to make sense of that in the way that we might make sense of it in therapy. And that is actually one of the big challenges sometimes as a therapist, is when people get into the weeds of their development and the deep, like, intrapsychic stuff. You're working with memories and ideas and representations that are very childlike, that never had any kind of sophistication attached to them because you couldn't as a kid. You don't possess the capability. So as an adult, if you're like talking to a therapist, and if Victor was talking to a therapist and was going through some of this stuff, you now are trying to figure out how to apply adult sensibilities to something that feels so intense and childlike, and that is not easy to do. So Victor's going to internalize these things as, my dad doesn't love me, he thinks I'm a monster, monster is a bad thing. It's a lot of it's concrete operations, it's one-to-one, and all of it is inductively reasoned. And so if his mom says your dad didn't mean that, doesn't matter. Of course he meant it. Of course he meant it. Dad's the one that would need to come in and really do some patchwork on that. Your mom Mom's in the unenviable position of being with somebody who is rejecting his child in some way. And that's not fair to your kid, man. And she's trying to like straddle this line between I'm going to defend your father and also like try to recognize that that was hurtful to you. And again, a kid is not really going to understand how complicated of a position that is. In a lot of ways, hearing your father didn't mean it is going to make it seem like mom is on his side, like mom is defending him instead of defending me. You know, kid is generally going to want to see mom go to bat for him, even though that's probably dangerous for her. But again, a kid doesn't understand that. Like, we're seeing all these childlike representations, which I appreciate so much from a developmental perspective, that because this is the way that things like this are carried in the mind, even long into adulthood. And so he's idolizing wolves, it seems like werewolves and stuff, probably because that feels like a degree of accurate representation or validation of what he's been treated like. He's been told, you know, like little wolf boy, or you're a monster or whatever, and he sees this and he sees werewolves as empowered beasts and stuff, and that probably feels really good for him. And if he's a really young kid, he's not just going to idealize the actual wolf, he's going to idealize what wolves do, and wolves hunt with reckless abandon. And if he doesn't have any scaffolding around that kind of thing, it's going to turn into a mess. So it's understandable why this kid ended up becoming what he is. It doesn't make the murders and stuff okay, but this provides a lot of context psychologically for it. Does the emotion tend to mean more than actual words for kids? Oh, for sure. Yeah. What they feel is going to matter a hell of a lot more than the language around it. You have to be super mindful as a parent with the way that you engage with your kids and around your kids, because they will perceive it as kids, not as adults, and you cannot expect them to view it in the same way that you do and to understand it in the same way that you do. It's one of the great failures of a lot of parents, is treating their kids as little adults. Oh boy. Oh no. I can only imagine. This must be yep, I'm on a stage and everybody's looking at me. Oh, wow.
Once upon a time, there lived in a certain forest a brave little wolf, the fiercest creature who was ever seen.
I don't know about you, but my heart like breaks for this kid. You know, he like sees wolves and he's like, "Oh, look at them! Wolves are awesome. They're powerful. Everybody fears them. They fear nothing." And there's such an attachment to that idea. And then you bring it up to people and they laugh at you and they call you a freak. They don't treat you like a wolf, even though they tell you maybe you look like one. God damn, man. You can really screw with people the way that you interact with them as children. This stuff sticks with you. Maybe he thinks I'm gonna kill him. Oh boy, yeah. Yep.
It's okay, Victor. Please, calm down.
Mommy?
Talk to him, Victor. I know there is still hope.
We heard this before.
You're not my son!
Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
No, not like this. Jesus, this is hopeless. Look, he's at it again.
Yeah, everybody's laughing at me. I mean, your role as his dad here, I mean, you can see how impactful it is. Like, he's trying to do things. He's trying to, I mean, if you're a kid in Victor's position, you're doing everything you possibly can to try to get your dad's attention and care. I mean, I know people talk about this as being some big psychological trope that you're always just trying to make sure your parents are proud of you, but that is really a thing. And kids will be desperate to figure out ways to try to get their parents or their guardians to be proud of them or to take care of them. I mean, there's a survival aspect to that. Like, you need your parents to be attentive to you so that you can survive the world. But like, this cuts really deep. And so like, if he couldn't do these things or was struggling to do these things and looks a certain way and his dad just continuously rejects him, you're gonna, as a kid, you're gonna personalize that big time, and you may spend a lot of your autonomy that emerges as you develop trying to compensate for all of those things. So maybe it means that Victor's trying to learn how to ride a bike on his own so he can impress his dad and say, "See, Dad, look." Maybe he's trying to alternate his or change his appearance so that he can say, "Look, Dad, now you can accept me because I look the way that you expect me to look and wanted me to look." And it may be too late. You do those things and his dad says, "No, you're not my son." That hurts, man. That hurts. You carry that stuff deep. And then it starts to color the way that you engage in things in your adulthood, where the next time that Victor has the opportunity to, maybe he's like, "Oh, dude, like, I want to play Magic the Gathering. Like, that seems really cool to me, and I want to get good at that." And he goes into it, and he goes into his first competition, and maybe he plays the wrong card or makes the wrong decision, and his dad is just immediately in his head. And now it turns into this like meteoric rise into how much of a failure and an idiot I am. And nobody's gonna love me, nobody's gonna care about me. So why do it in the first place? And then you start to avoid things that you want to do because you don't believe in yourself, because you never got any reinforcement that you like. These things just go on and on and on and on and on. And yeah, the reason that childhood trauma is so egregious and so powerful is because a traumatized child leads to an adult that has to manage that trauma. And in a lot of ways, probably doesn't have the tools or the understanding of how to do that. None of us innately know how to do that. So, as a therapist, again, when you work with trauma, particularly childhood trauma, it can be very difficult because you have to untangle a web of things that were not ever processed in any kind of adult-like way. And applying adult-like sensibility to childhood trauma is a long process because you feel it in a guttural way. It feels like this. You walk into a room and you imagine every single person's laughing at you because when you were a child, that's what you saw. And that's how you internalized it.
You're embarrassing me.
Yep.
We're in for another show.
Terrible.
Look at him.
Just give up already.
Oh, it's just fucking sad.
No. Leave me alone.
Look at him. Please, you need
You're not my son!
Once upon a time, there lived in a certain village
A little country girl.
The prettiest creature.
Congratulations. We're past the first phase of the treatment, and it looks promising. Your body is responding well to the genetic material.
Thank you, Doctor. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
Oh, that's all right. You'll thank me in a couple of weeks when the shift starts to occur. I'm sure you'll be pleased with the results.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to overdo it, but you know, even the stammering in his voice. I mean, this kind of thing would lead to a perpetual lack of confidence. I mean, to the point that you would stammer your way through something like I can only imagine how tortured Victor probably was as an adult trying to navigate an adult world when he was never really given the tools. You'd be so afraid of the way that everybody's going to interact with you. You would assume that everybody's going to think you're a burden. I mean, the amount of projection that comes from trauma can be a nightmare. And again, it's one of those things where, like, yes, are you an active participant in your projections? You most certainly are. But you don't know any different and you don't have the tools to understand that. Man, is that nasty. You know, and eventually he might even start getting mad at his mom, somebody who potentially was very supportive of him and loved him, of like, well, how could you let everybody else do this to me? And these are all the types of narratives that people engage in these types of scenarios. So again, you know, I'm not justifying the fact that Victor was a murderer if he was indeed a murderer, but I really appreciate the way that this sequence is pushing us to empathize with him. It's essentially doing for me what I often try to do in these playthroughs when we have somebody who does something that we consider to be like reprehensible, is finding the context and the reasons why. So this is a very cool experience. I know I keep saying that, but this is really well done from a gameplay design. Look at that, it's not black and white anymore. Okay, never mind.
So you see, while it is technically inoperable, this procedure can practically nullify the symptoms. I'm not going to lie, the treatment is invasive, but it is by far the best option.
Oh, thank you, Doctor. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Did you hear that, Dan? Should have been you.
Oh, and Dan being part of this just skews everything. This is crazy. I wonder if Dan sees himself in the parents of Victor.
Dad, I know what I'm doing.
What if you're wrong?
Well, what if I'm right? It's something I need to do. For once in your life, can't you just admit that you're wrong?
That's Adam. Oh. Warning. Nanophage quarantine. Alright, whatever. It was worth going over there just to see what was over there. I figured that might happen. I want to know how they made that sound effect. I really want to know. The like that noise. It's such a cool noise. The
Thanks. You better stay here. There might be some very nasty people out there.
No. What's up, bud? It's such a clever way to reuse assets.
You don't. He finds you. He always gets his prey.
Hey, I recognize that door. Hey, there's the pig.
3 pairs of eyes, 4 gallons of plasma, 2 hearts, 2 livers, a set of lungs. A pretty decent meal.
God, that whole thing was terrible.
He's always out there, watching, waiting.
Commiserating.
I'm right on your tail.
The hell? That was me. Spooky me. Bunch of dead birds. Wait a second. Is this... Oh, this is the memory of me attacking me. These are like my last minutes. If I'm Victor. Stalking Dan, following him, and then tackle him into the thing. Yeah, wow.
You've taken your first steps towards embracing your true nature, towards becoming who you really are. But there's still more to do.
I'm inclined to believe that that's Adam, because it's the same color subtitles.
Administer medication.
I'm in control.
Please, I know how to die. Or get used to it. So, Victor, is it? If I can find whatever hole you crawled out of, maybe I'll find some answers.
Man, you would hope that, like, Dan would maybe...
Synchrosine injected. Strain level decreased.
Again, not okay that he killed people, but you'd think that Dan might find a little bit of empathy in him for Victor after watching what he just watched.
Synchrosine injected. Strain level decreased.
Finally came face to face with the killer, barely survived. He didn't. I should examine his body because I did that. Okay. Restore power to the generator. Our little scuffle has shorted out the generator. If I'm to get out of here, I need to restore power. Man, that was a trip. Quite enjoyed that. Let me in. Let me in.
The body shorted out the generator. To get this door open, I gotta restore power.
It's probably through this not creepy at all hole in the ground, huh? Hey, thanks for being here and watching this with me, friends. It's been very enjoyable to hang out, play this game, and immerse ourselves in it. So I'm grateful for your support of the playthrough, whether you're here on Twitch or whether on YouTube. Thank you. I also want to know where the hell we are, because this is not like a recognizable area. No, it is not. Okay. All right, let's see. Picked up fuse 35A. Wait, I can only carry one at a time? 20A? 10A? 10A? Shit.
The fuse is busted. I need to find a spare.
Bitch! I have some tiny ass pockets. This is like the opposite of video games. There you go. Dan can't carry anything.
Let's get out of here.
Okay. Probably nothing weird behind this door, eh? Nothing weird's gonna happen. This is gonna be totally fine. Is our boy like completely fried to a crisp? I wonder. Let's go take one more gandarooski at the guy. How you doing, bud? You okay? You're not. I wonder if his modifications were to try to make him look more like a wolf. We back in the basement? What the hell? I'm so, like... This building is a freaking labyrinth, man. Puerta. Small pipe or big pipe? Let's go in the small pipe. Because why not? I don't want to miss out on stuff. I don't like when video games do this to me. That's a long ass pipe. That's what she said. Damn it, game. Reward my exploration. Have a bad feeling about being down here? Yeah. Nothing good ever happens in the secret tunnel. My princess is in another castle. Man, if I'm Dan, I'm like, I need a shower. I want to change my clothes. Found Victor's hideout. Whatever he took from Adam's apartment, he likely stashed it here.
What a place. Hard to believe anyone could live here.
I don't know, man. If you paid attention to the observation you just made into Victor's mind, I would say it makes a lot of sense why he lived here.
He came to me again, the man from the looking glass. His voice is soothing, like leaves rustling in the wind. He's the only one who understands. The only one who cares. He made me see what I was lacking, what I must do. But what he's asking, am I strong enough? Of course I am. That's the coward Victor talking again. Enough talk. Ugly human words hurt my throat. I can barely get them out anymore. It's time to act.
Coward Victor is his dad's voice that he carries. Like the idea that that was Coward Victor. You know, he's talking about that. He goes, no, that's Coward Victor talking. It's his dad. And he's vulnerable. And you can prey on people like Victor by whoever this person is that he's talking about did by taking advantage of that.
Splicers. Haven't we invented enough ways to screw ourselves up?
Yeah, he stopped looking at himself as human. He started looking at himself as a wolf. It's completely understandable. That's what I meant when I said, like, you get to a point where if your, humanness is so painful because of the way that it's interacted with, and then he sees so much empowerment with a wolf, and he's not given the type of kindness and goodwill in good spirit. Yeah, man, it's completely easy to see why he would go in the direction of starting to see himself as a wolf, because he's been treated that way his entire life. It's really sad. Really sad. Shit. I wanted to go through his computer. Shit. I better be able to go back. I'm gonna be so mad if I can't go back.
No. Oh, God. No. This can't be happening. It's not fucking happening.
Dad? Dad? Are you there?
What kind of a sick game is this?
Dad, I'm still alive. The head. Don't connect to it.
Adam? Adam, are you there?
I need your help. There's a place. A sanctuary.
Adam? Adam? Just try to call me back. God damn it.
We'll get back to that in a second. Jean-Sebastian Ballard, the natural alternative. We talked to John Sebastian Ballard, CEO of Ballard Genetics and Augmentations, on the future of personalized modification and the fear of change. Tom Tubal. Mr. Ballard, please call me John. John, let me present you a hypothetical situation. Let's say your son turns 18. He comes to you and says, Dad, I don't feel comfortable with my body. I'm going to go to the nice folks at BG&A and have them grow tentacles on my face. Well, if he had the means to pay for the treatment, I would assume him to be a very smart young man, so I would gladly hear him out and do my best to understand his decision. You're dodging the question. I'm merely pointing out how unfair it is. It's always easy for rabble-rousers to say, what if it was your kids? But in truth, this conversation has been going on for hundreds of years. When the cybernetic revolution came about, there were people saying that we were all doomed, that we've gone too far. 100 years ago, a transgender person would be shunned as a misfit and a freak of nature, which thankfully seems outlandish by today's standards. There will always be people out there who fear change. But what if we reach a point where rabble-rousers, and thanks for that, by the way, will be right? Is there a limit? Is gene splicing it? A very wise man once said that for us to be afraid of genetic research was akin to the ancient Chinese being afraid to fly kites because one day they might be crashing planes. I believe this sentence to be true even today. In terms of shaping our genome, we have barely scratched the surface. And yet it's being promoted as a hot new trend. We're seeing teenagers risk their lives by making these irreversible changes, not BG&A. We only treat consenting adults. That's all well and good, but the technology's out there, isn't it? The cat's out of the bag. Come on now, Tom. Are you really going to make me use the guns don't kill people argument? I'm only wondering if you think it's responsible to promote it as a fashion statement. Please. You said it yourself. The treatment is irreversible and does involve a degree of risk, albeit small. Do you actually think anyone would make a life-altering decision of that caliber on a whim? You keep using the word treatment. Why? Because that's precisely what it is. Not really, though. I mean, it doesn't treat any illness. Of course it does. Frankly, I'm a bit shocked to have to explain this to you, Tom. When you speak of illness, you're clearly thinking of purely physical ailments. I'm certainly not trying to offend you, but I think it's fair to call that mindset medieval. So you're saying turning someone into a genetic hybrid is a form of psychotherapy? I'm saying that anything that helps a person feel at home in their body should not be instantly discarded. So should we just jump in with both feet? Is there no place for healthy skepticism? I rarely find skepticism healthy. More often than not, it's refuge for the prejudiced and closed-minded. All I can ask for is to not vilify that which we don't understand. Do you consider yourself a prophet of change? I consider myself tired. It's been a very busy week. In that case, I'll let you rest. Thank you for the interview. Thank you for having me. Same process, different time. Mail, grocery list. Hey, managed to nab a new client. Guy's interested in pre-war transmitting equipment that he's got through, and he's got the dough to pay for it. Doesn't need to be mint, but it has to be in working condition. Here's a list of what he's looking for. A B8X antenna, a Nemosmith dual-mounted receiver, the bulky industrial one, not one of them consumer models, a VGX-4 encoding chip, Vitalia IFP fusion batteries, as many as you can find. I'm counting on you, buddy. Don't screw this up. Rob. Latest batch. Victor, parts you sent me last week were fucking useless. I managed to salvage the antenna, but the receiver was busted beyond repair and the rest was rusted all to hell. Where'd you even get this stuff? Did you dig it out of the fucking trash? Needless to say, the client's not paying for this crap. I had to offer him a discount on my premium stuff just to keep us in business. You're on thin fucking ice, my furry friend. You pull a stunt like that again and you'll have to look for a new dealer. Rob. Please stop. Victor, this freakish charade needs to stop. Now. Mom and Dad are terrified, and I don't blame them. The whole gene splicing obsession is one thing, but the packages you've been sending them. Whatever you think they did to you, this is fucking cruel and unusual. Vic, you're my brother, and I'll love you even if you decide to grow an extra leg and a set of horns, but please leave Mom and Pop out of it. If you want them to accept you for who you are, just talk to them. Help them understand. I know you're not delusional, so please get back to your family. We're not your enemies. Hoping to hear from you soon. Anka. Oh, is that complicated? As if she had an entirely different upbringing with different parental expectations and possibly even preferential treatment because of how poorly Victor was treated. That's a tangled web there. Because siblings have different experiences of their parents, and to deny that is often like totally off base because parents treat their children differently. No matter how badly they want to act like they don't, they absolutely do. Kids have different needs. They stir up different things in parents, and I appreciate that she's willing to communicate with him and say that she believes in him and cares about him and doesn't see him as delusional, but their experiences, their parents may be so profoundly different that she may not be able to empathize, or maybe she needs to be curious about him and where he's coming from. I'm not saying I don't know what he's sending to them. That may not be okay, right? But this is a more complicated thing. And his sister triangulating herself in that, I think, is further proof that his relationship with his parents is probably absolutely terrible. Ari, favor. Hey, buddy, I got your message. Frankly, it couldn't have come at a worse time. These past few months have been pretty hard. Eliza's out of a job again and with a baby on the way, so I've been pulling double shifts to save up some dough. We want to have a little one spliced as soon as it gets here. Oh, boy. In other words, sorry, but I just don't have that kind of money. It's not that I don't trust you. I know you pay me back. I just can't help you this time. Hope you'll figure something out. Hang in there, Matt. P.S. Ain't your parents rich or something? I hear they moved to a B district. Can't you just ask them for a loan? Oh, so Victor asked him for money. Splicing infants. Yeah, gotta love that. All right. Dear sir, we at... Oh, R.E., I'm coming for you. So he sent them an email. Dear sir, we at Ballard Genetics and Augmentations are deeply saddened by the fact that you are unsatisfied with the results of your gene splicing therapy. BG&A employs only the best experts in their field and uses state-of-the-art equipment in order to meet all of our patients' needs. However, we fully acknowledge our patients' right to have immensely high expectations, even if, objectively speaking, they would be found unrealistic. While we are unable to provide you with the specific details regarding your treatment, we would like to remind you that in cases requiring the use of genetic material from extinct species, in this instance, Canis lupus, our experts compose unique strains obtained from our gene library. Unfortunately, we're not able to provide you with a list of donor species or to confirm or deny whether a given species was used in the procedure. We would also like to remind you that the aforementioned facts were stated in no uncertain terms in a pre-procedural contract. Finally, we feel obliged to inform you that malicious DNA tampering is a very serious accusation, one that should not be leveled lightly, unless one has strong evidence to support their claim. Any unfounded accusations against BG&A made publicly or in further correspondence will be seen as slanderous and met with decisive legal actions. Sincerely, BG&A Patient Support. Oh boy, what a tangled web. Yeah, so he was spliced with wolf genetics. Yeah, gotta love the Corpo PR speak there. 62079, 22080. Oh, yeah. So wolf-like legs. Damn. Look at that. Wow. Huh. Damn. I don't know what to believe anymore. The voice claiming to be Adam warned me not to plug into the head, but can I afford not to? Oh boy, friends. We get to make a decision in part 8. Oh, God. What a cliffhanger. Will I go into the head or will I not? Oh, God. I'm the worst. Thank you for watching this series. I appreciate you all immensely, and I'm so glad. If you find yourself being sad right now that I'm ending this, it means that I appreciate your emotional investment in this playthrough, and I'm so glad that you're here, and I hope if you're binging the next episode, or if you're binging, you're going to go right in there. If you're, or maybe you won't go in there. You don't know what I'm going to do. If you're waiting for the next one to come out, we'll get it out as soon as we can. Thank you for the thumbs up, the comments, all that stuff, the engagement. It makes a huge difference for the channel. Come hang out with us live on Twitch sometime. You matter. I appreciate you. And maybe we'll go in the next episode.